Is welcome to Heather's Mixed Media Studio. It is Friday night, and I am home from work finally. And I've been at my desk for a little bit. I was working on some mail that I need to get sent out. Some folks I owe some stuff to. Some folks I didn't owe some stuff to, but decided to send some stuff to anyway. Had to put information on the back of a bunch of ATC cards because I've still been making those and I just hadn't put the series information on the back of them. I have so many things I want to show you guys, not tonight, but someday. Someday I want to show you all the different ATCs that I've made, the ones I still have anyway. I want to show you the full deck challenge that I did. But right now, tonight, just want to play. Like, I could work on that resistance piece that I've got, but, it's Friday. I don't know what you're all drinking. I'm drinking a mug root beer. Mug root beer. Had pizza for dinner. It's that kind of day. It is decompress time. That's what it is. So to that end, I'm going to do some work in my reluctant art journal. The prompt, they put prompts out there occasionally in makers of mixed media art and artists. For those of us doing the reluctant journal thing, there are prompts available if you're feeling unmotivated, and my brains are fried from the work week, and so I needed a little, here, go do a thing. This latest prompt is use a gel print that you're not super fond of, rip it, tear it, cut it, turn it into little pieces, recompose them into a collage, and title it something like Not Quite Garbage Anymore, or something to that effect. So these are two pieces that I pulled out. This one here was my very first attempt to pull an image on the gel plate. And you can see some of the pictures actually of an oil rig, and you can see some of the rigging bits up here, and then the rest of it just completely failed to pull at all. Now, I've since learned that probably had to do with the source material that I was using. So it definitely was not successful. I'm probably the only one who can tell what it used to be. And this was pulled on a speedball ink only plate using acrylics. So it's got its problems. And then this one was that on the same plate? Yeah, this might also have been on the speedball plate. I know that there's staining in the plate from when I did this. This was the color combo. This was the pull after I pulled the color combo off, to get the rest of this blue paint off, to get the staining in the background off. This was totally just a cleanup. It has a really weird texture, though. This piece of paper feels almost like pleather. It's really odd. I don't know if I just had too much paint on that day. Like, this is dry. This is like bone dry. But this, you can even see that it's glossy. It feels like plastic or leather. You kind of stick to it. So it wasn't ever meant to be anything other than a cleanup. But it had such a weird texture and consistency to it that I thought, well, these two were definitely what I would call not successful. And so I'm going to use both of these, turn them, cut them up, rip them up, whatever, and turn them into a little collage right here. I do have some glue I'm also trying to finish up. This glue came about, I think I was watching Treasure Books. It might have been Treasure Books. It might have been Mary Jane. I can't remember the other creative person. Anyway, they take Elmer's school glue and mix it 1/4 water 1 part water and 3 parts Elmer's school glue. Apparently they said that they prefer that over Mod Podge, and at the time I had a lot of school glue, and so that's what I did. I have since gone out and purchased a container of Mod Podge matte that I'll probably use going forward, but this has worked out. It's, as far as I can tell, it's holding up. Nobody's complained yet that I'm aware of. I've got a little brush here that I don't even know what it came from, so it's going to be my glue brush today, and maybe going forward I've got to stop using my paint brushes as my glue brush. So maybe if I remember this is my glue brush, I'll just use it going forward. So yeah, that's what I'm up to tonight. Nothing big, nothing fancy, just trying to, do something different. And I don't feel like tearing things today, so today is going to be cutting things with scissors day. I do like tearing things sometimes, but I don't know, I'm feeling more of a crisp, clean edges sort of deal. I don't know. It's all art. Make what you want. I'm trying to remember what I was thinking about earlier today. It had to do with just making what you want out of stuff. I don't remember why I was on a tear about that in my own head. So yeah, I do like how this... Ooh, that's kind of giving me tornado vibes now. I like that. I got a sun going on there. This looks like a tornado to me. I don't know that all this is going to fit on the page, but that's alright. Oh, that's it. It was a riff off of Just Do It, but it was just art. Just art. Whatever it is you're going to do, just art. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm digging that as a tornado. Digging that as a sun. Maybe use those. We'll keep those bits. I may still use other bits off of there. I want to get some of this green down there as maybe grass. Could be grass. I don't know. Mooch ass grass, yes. Oops, not quite wide enough. Alright, well, I have more green. I'll just get 2 pieces. Sure, why not? Probably they intended that you only use one, one gel print. I decided to use 2. There are no rules. And/or rules, they're merely suggestions. Just sort of how I drive. They're more like guidelines, really. That's it. That's the phrase I was looking for. They're more like guidelines, really. So yeah, let's throw some glue on here. Some glue on my desk. My desk loves it when I glue it. That's probably not true, but, glue on my desk all the time. Why should today be any different? There we go. And we'll go up the side. Sure, why not? So yeah, I don't know what you all are up to this weekend. My partner's out of town, so I have some free time to play. So of course I'm chatting with you fine folks and making arty stuff like you do. Or like I do anyway. I don't know what the rest of the people do. Let's put the sun. Here comes the sun. Nope, because I know this has that angle. Yeah, we're going to put it there anyway. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. So hopefully the weather is good by where you all are. It's been very windy and very rainy out this way for the last call it 2 days. And I drive all day for a living. That's what I get paid to do. And it made driving yesterday and this morning very complicated. I need some blue to go in the background here. I want that to not look like grass. And so I'll use some of these blue bits here. Yeah, so yesterday we had standing water and pouring down rain and trying to navigate around all that. And, you know, as much as that is complicated, it's more complicated by the people who have forgotten how to drive in the rain and or who never knew how to drive in the first place. You know, because you get those people too. It's a bluish part. Let's get this oil rig here. It's actually kind of purpley, but we'll go with it. And so, having to avoid puddles of standing water and, you know, not being able to see all that well because it was sheeting down out of the sky. And that was a problem. And then the road that I usually take to leave where we park all the vans at night, it was a hard road to navigate with the sits up higher van that I drive for work, and it made me concerned that the sits down lower minivan that I drive as my personal vehicle might have had a hard time getting through that particular road. So that made getting home challenging. And then today when I went out to drive, there was just so much wind. And so if you've ever driven something that's a little broad in the beam, like minivans and the like tend to be, it tends to move the vehicle all over the road. And so I had to deal with that on the way into work. And then once I got in the company van, it's an even bigger flying brick than my minivan. And so the start of the day was kind of challenging like that. Yeah, it got better as the day went on. The winds calmed down. It got nice and warm out. And folks were happy to, you know, be off because it's Friday. And they were happy that it warmed up a little bit. So none of us were out there freezing. That was going on earlier in the week. But on the whole, you know, it was a pretty decent week. There's nothing to complain about, really. So hopefully you all had a good week as well. And like I said, right now I'm just laying down some pieces here to give it a nice background for this tornado-y piece I'm going to put on here. Just trying to make a sky. Which is weird because I'm trying to make a sky out of something green, but okay. I guess that's fitting for a tornado. That's something my mom always told me as a kid, that if you ever saw the sky turn green, you should know that a tornado was on its way. I don't know how true that is. I mean, we lived adjacent to Tornado Alley, so I really should know the answer to this. By Tornado Alley, what I mean by that is I live out here in Ohio, and there's an area of Ohio over by like Lima and the like that gets hit with so many tornadoes. And so I always lived east of that by quite a good bit, and it would usually miss us, but it would usually touch down on the western side of the state. And so I now live in that western side of the state. I actually have to like notice and care about things like tornadoes now, or I didn't never used to have to care or worry about it. So that's a new thing, having to deal with that. Do I want this up high? I think I do want it up high. It's almost like the sun's making a tornado. I might just color in I'm not feeling it, man. I'm not feeling like cutting out any more blue stuff. That's what I'm saying. So let's just glue down this tornado and move on with it. Eventually I'll have to clean all the glue off my desk. I don't know. There we go. There's that little tornado looking piece. Let's get that up here. Because I kind of like the idea of it coming out of the sun. So there. That's down there. Covered up most of the background, so really why to bother. But alright. Let me dig out a wet wipe to clean the glue off the desk. I will say, putting down something that I can wipe off was one of the best changes I made to the desk the most recent time that I upgraded it. Now, I will say I probably should have put more money into the roll that I put down here, because this stuff, I have rubbed holes in it already just from trying to clean paint off of it. So it was maybe not, you know, the best quality purchase, but I don't know. When I pull it up, we'll see how the desk has fared underneath it. Ah. Alright. Now something to dry the desk with, because now the desk is wet. Alright, there we go. A little cleaner workspace to go with here. What do I want to color the background with? I don't want to, well, okay, I kind of do want to paint. Mostly I just want it to be easy. Whatever I do it with needs to be easy. Posca markers. They are right here. I don't have to think too hard about them. So let's do dark blue. Seems to be the vibe we had going on here. So yeah. Just color all this stuff in. Da, 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 da. What am I going with here? I'm sort of aiming for that Wizard of Oz vibe, I guess. You know, like if I could draw a witch in a pointy hat on a bicycle on this, I would, because that's kind of how I'm feeling about it. Right now, let me get all these brown areas covered, because they're annoying me and I don't want to deal with them. Just color them in. All right, there we go. So that's what we got. We used up some of these two stencils that I don't love, and I'm not going to keep the rest of them. They're just going to go. I mean, this one, well, that one's on grid paper. This one's on white paper. This grid paper I ended up with because I needed hexagon paper, and I expected these triangle bits to be way bigger than they are. So I can't actually use any of this paper for the project I bought it for. So I've been turning it into gel prints for a while now, but it's not very heavy. So it's also not good for gel prints. So I don't know what to do with that. I'm just getting rid of it bit by bit here and there. That is so weird. It just has the oddest feel to it. I'm trying to decide if I want to do anything with this part here on this particular piece. Probably not. I think I'm done with the collage part, and I want to start adding color to it. I'll probably keep this though, because even though there's not a lot to it that I find visually appealing, the texture is so weird. So we'll keep the texture bits. We'll do something with that later. So I've definitely got Posca markers nearby. I've got my pens out. Let's do some black pen work, I think. I want to highlight this a little more. Just gonna go So I hope y'all are finding something fun to do with your Friday evening. I'm have a little bit of envy with all my other creative types going on right now, because so many of them have had their channels long enough that they have this following of people, and so they can go live and people will chat with them. And part of why I'm talking to you fine folks here on the YouTubes is because it is one ridiculous something o'clock in the morning, and I'm the only one I know who's awake right now. Everybody else is asleep. I don't have anybody to talk to or hang out with, so here I am recording videos and talking to you. So some of you I know are awake. I sent a text over to Becky Boker earlier tonight. She was still up, and I was listening to a thing she did, a live, I think, that she did a while ago. And it sounds like she's another late night person also. So, you know, I would hang out with these people if I could go live, but that's apparently not a thing I can do. Well, okay, let me take that back. When I first started posting things, maybe I was posting to Facebook. I don't know. Anybody could go live anytime they wanted, but like I said, it just occurred to me I might have been on Facebook. And there weren't any limits. You didn't have to have any certain number of followers or friends or whatever. But I think I heard that you had to have at least 50 followers to go live on YouTube. Now, I don't know that that's true. I don't know where I think I saw or heard that at. But that's part of why I'm just recording this and not going live, is because I don't think I'm allowed to yet, because I have 5 whole followers. By the way, thank you, number 4 and number 5, for joining up. I don't know who you are, but I'm grateful you're here, all 5 of you. I do know who my first follower was, because she told me. That's my friend Janet. She's over there somewhere in YouTube viewer land doing what she does. She's another arty crafty person. I don't know, I think her current creative passion is stabbing things repeatedly. Others of you might know that as needlepoint. But I don't know, she's always got her hand in some crafty pie too, so it might be something else entirely. See, I think that looks kind of like it. It would look more like a hurricane if I drew the lines kind of catty corner, but I don't want to. So we're going to leave them that way. And let's dig out a yellow pen. I want this sun to have more of a yellow pop than it's got right now. So we're going to outline that in yellow. Make that, although my yellow's currently got black on it. I don't know what's going on there. All right, yellow, stop having black. You're not supposed to have black on you, yellow. That's not how this works. It's like, yeah, it does. You draw me over top of black stuff, you end up with black on your marker. Disappointing. Not what I'm trying to have here. Pardon me while I... See, you can see where there's black on the nib, and I'm trying to get the black off, so... Maybe not the most fascinating thing you've watched today. Not sure it's going to come off. I mean, it is bit by bit, but... Yeah, well. The other thing I can do is just try not to write with that part. Smear the whole thing in yellow. How about that? There. All right. Oosh. Try that again. There. And maybe right in here too. All right, that's cool. And then we'll use a yellow pen, because I'm sure I got one of those around here. And do a little drawing over here. Ooh, if it'll draw on that. It's hard to tell if it's drawing on there. I think it is. Hard to tell. Well, we're going to keep going with it. But I don't, like, the black drew really well on it. But, I don't know. It's hard to tell if the yellow's actually drawing. Of course, I'm drawing yellow on top of Naples yellow, so, this could be a PEBCAC error. Problem exists between keyboard and chair. It's an ID10T error. This artist. Anyway, doing the best I can, folks. Like I said, it's late, it's Friday, it's the end of the week. I don't feel like doing anything too taxing. So even if this doesn't work out, I'm still going to just continue and hope it turns into something. Which I think is the whole point of these prompts for the, Reluctant Art Journal, is to just do something, All right, so anyway, there we go. We've got our little tornado, we've got our little sun, we've got our oil rig in the background that nobody can tell is an oil rig but me, because I'm the one who did it. White pen. Nope, that's silver. Try it again. Where'd the white one go? And all my metallic pens, all 3 of them. I know it's not a lot, but it's not even 3. Do I have a 3rd one? No, those are failed white pens. Okay. They came as this set. A white jelly roll, a silver jelly roll, and a gold jelly roll. And I appreciated that. Not going to use... Yes, I am going to use the white. That's why I pulled these out. Hello. And why is my gold one open right now? I just wanted to throw some little stars up here in this night sky. They had the look of stars to me. So that's what we're going with. A couple of stars up here in the sky. No good reason. We'll throw some over here too. I don't know. This is a whole mash of I don't know what time of day it is, clearly. I'm alright with that. I still think it needs a little something, something. I'm just not sure what. So. Maybe some marks in black. That's what I'm going to go with. And I think for that I want to use a black brush tip marker, which should be in this group. Well, should be, doesn't mean it is. There we go. Nope, that was over here. Because I think if I do the brush tip marker, I can get a wispier kind of look. I want to have that sideways rain look. Sure. I'm going to call that done. We've now got a tornado and all the rain that it brings and flying equipment going around. We've got a clear night sky. We've got a sun and some field. Maybe I'll put some flowers down there for fun. As soon as I find an appropriate device I can draw a flower with. Blue pen. Sure, why not? Blue pen, we'll get some lupine growing down here. there. Some little flowers here. We'll draw a couple little flowers here in front of the sun too, because sure, why not? Yeah, that'll work. There we go. Sunshine, tornado, night sky. That no longer quite sucks, or however you're supposed to title these things. So there you go. We did a thing in the Reluctant Artist Journal. I think I'm going to have time to film some stuff tomorrow, so maybe tomorrow there'll be some arty papers or some flop-offs or some gel printing, or I don't know. Something will happen tomorrow, but that's all I got for you guys tonight. I wish you well. I hope you have a great weekend. Remember to drink something and eat some pizza and have an awesome week.